Hi, I'm John,
And I'm Corey.
and this is the Tiny Room Movie Review.
Hey man, you hear about the tiny room?
Whoa, shh. Today we're talking about The Mist, directed by Frank Darabont in 2007, starring an ensemble cast led by Thomas Jane.
The Mist is about a group of people trapped in a supermarket surrounded by a mysterious mist. The people of Bridgetown, Maine struggle to survive as they are tormented by supernatural creatures and paranoia.
Ooh, sounds spooky.
Yeah.
So let's get straight to it.
Guys. Hurry it up. I hear something.
Starting with audio-visual, I was really impressed by this movie. I thought they did a good job with the CGI. Nothing looked too corny or out of place. And they really use a lot of cool practical effects. I also was very impressed with their use of music. And they didn't rely on jump scares. And that's something like that really bothers me in a lot of movies, especially this being a horror thriller film. It would have been easy for them to just constantly use the, turning a corner and there's the monster, or someone's with a knife. And they didn't do that. They really create fear in this very subtle, cool way with their camera tricks and just light music in the background. So that was really cool.
Yeah, for sure. This movie's fantastic for it. It had a really dark, kind of creepy undertone to everything that was going on. They classify this movie as a horror / thriller, but I didn't really get that from it. It had its aspects to it where it was a thriller. You didn't really know what was going to happen. There were a few jump scares, but it was more of I feel like I was more scared of just how people reacted, and how real it felt in the moment, that how I imagined people resorting back to their primal ways would act in that situation. So I feel like the visual was really on point, and the audio just kind of it wasn't over the top, but it fit perfectly for what they were doing.
Yeah, it really was more of a fear of the unknown type situation, and how do people react, like you say.
Yeah.
One thing I did want to point out as well, so they're trapped in the supermarket, and that's really the only location for most of the movie, and yet they really utilize every aspect of the store to create kind of a bigger scene.
Yeah, like a world, basically.
Absolutely. Whether you're in this aisle or that aisle, it felt different as the movie progressed, and it was really good.
Something in the mist! Something in the mist! Cook John Lee!
Moving on to the acting score, I really love Thomas Jane. He did a really good job of playing this controlled citizen. He really was the perfect eyes for the audience. As everyone else around him slowly goes insane and starts screaming at each other and having all this craziness, he really maintains this sort of calm, but still fear. If that makes any sense. He's the most rational throughout the film, and he makes the perfect ground for all these eccentric supporting characters. And oh my gosh, they go wild. To see people start out like normal, boring supermarket, and they're just kind of, they do a good job of being real people, and then just slowly, each scene progressively losing their mind and getting bigger and wild. Acting was just on point.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think Thomas Jane played that really good, like you said, ground, He held it together until he loses it, but hey, wait for that. It was fantastic. I don't think out of every movie I've ever watched, I don't think I've hated a character more than I have than a particular character in this movie, and I won't spoil who it is. It's not Thomas Jane, but there's certain characters in the movie that just the progression of the acting was fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone went really nothing was super cheesy. Nothing was I don't even know how to say it. Everything was really just kind of had its place and its moment. With everything that was going on. It's just fantastic overall.
Yeah, there was none of that over the top, oh my God, the mist. It really felt like they were genuinely shocked and in fear. That was really cool.
Yeah.
Hey.
As far as plot structure, this movie was really well done. I enjoyed the highs and lows of it. It was like riding this perfect waves in the ocean. You had high intense moments with the dealing with the monsters, the mist, or the fighting, and it just grew and became big and dramatic. And then it didn't drop suddenly, but it calmed down, and you had this moment of reflection that wasn't boring. It never lagged. There was never a boring moment, but it definitely found a cool pace of like rush and then settle down. And it gave you a time to like reflect on what had been happening in the movie, which is kind of cool because you kind of see people's thought processes. And you get to see people making bad decisions, as you often do in like a horror film. Like, you know, oh, why'd they hide in that room, or you know, why'd they decide to go after the monster with that trap or whatever. And you get to see these people fail, but it's kind of cool that like the next scene or the next 2 scenes later, like they call themselves out on it. They kind of take a moment to realize like, yeah, we did that wrong. That was the wrong move.
Yeah.
That was just cool to see.
Yeah, I thought it's really cool. Like, I thought it was gonna be kind of like a cheesy movie with monsters in the mist, you know. But like it definitely kind of takes like I love how the movie. Sure, there was like these H.P. Lovecraft like type of creatures that came from the mist, but like. I loved that the story was really based on how all these people in the supermarket just kind of like slowly went insane on how they acted. I feel like that's what the movie was based on, and then a creature would come into play just to kind of progress the story on a little bit further, you know. And yeah, I thought that was a fantastic way that they like kind of did that.
Absolutely. Continuing on to engagement, I was on the edge of my seat during this movie. It just kept me focused, and I was so excited to see what they're going to do next and what's going to happen next. I was just blown away. You really see this sort of Lord of the Flies situation play out in front of you, and yeah, they're never a dull moment. And any time you thought like, all right, they can't take it anywhere further, boom, they hit you with this another monster, this other situation they have to deal with, this other thing, and yet they never give you too much. Like, they never give you enough information to really, I don't know, see where it's going. And a lot of the movie, I think there's still questions I have about what really happened or what's going on, but the movie didn't need to answer them. And it was like, they kept it mysterious enough. You know, they gave us enough information to like, all right, we see what's going on where I'm following, but I want more, and I want them to explain it. They kept me intrigued. I was impressed.
Yeah, I was so like I said before, I've seen the movie before, and I love this movie. So like the engagement, I think it was so the movie, yeah, it's engaging. It even after multiple times of watching it, I'm still engaged in it fully. And then when I get somebody else to watch it, you know, like you watched it for the first time, yeah, I think it was really engaging to watch you watch the movie, because that's kind of how I felt the first time I watched it. How it was just like, oh my god, what's next? You know, and yeah, it's just like entertaining to watch you watch the movie while watching the movie, but I still be engaged, if that makes any sense. But yeah, it was fantastic. Like yeah, it had me engaged the entire time.
It is these people who brought this upon us. They, people who refuse to bend to the will of God.
Finally, my recommendation, go see this movie. Make a friend watch this movie with you, and buy this movie, own this movie, love this movie, make a shrine to this movie. No, it's too far. But seriously, this was a really fun film. I will watch this again for a few times a year, maybe. I was so impressed by this, and it was just such an interesting, engaging story. And like you said earlier, I kind of want to share it with other people and just watch them watch the movie, see what that's like. So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's definitely, and that's why I recommended it to you, really, so we could watch it. And like I've already recommended. So would I recommend? Yeah, I recommend it all the time to people because it definitely is like up there at like one of my favorite movies. Just with everything. Audio, visual, acting, everything that goes on in this movie, I really couldn't find anything that I was like, that was stupid, or like, I like every aspect of this movie. Yeah, and that's pretty much it.
All right, now that you've heard from us, let's see how the tiny room feels about The Mist.
Well, there you have it. Thanks for watching, and let us know what you thought of The Mist in the comment section below.
Also, let us know if there's any movies you'd like us to review in the future.
Tiny room. Shh.